Merry meet everybody. This is Poe, your Friday hostess here on Witches of the Moon, and this week we are discussing tips for the new witch. I would have to probably say the first tip that I want to give out, being that this is it's kind of a difficult topic to kind of elaborate on because there are so many things. But the first thing I'd have to definitely say, though, as far as this is concerned, is do your homework. Know your craft. Before you get into any of the spell work or anything like that, know what you're doing. I mean, have a working knowledge of what it is that you're trying to, do. Understand how it works. Understand the not just the spiritual side of it, but also kind of the scientific side of things. It tends to help kind of round out the knowledge that you have. And with that, you kind of dive into the research aspect of things. There is books upon books, websites upon websites, articles upon articles, YouTube channels upon YouTube channels that have this wealth of information. But the thing is that with all of that information, you really have to decide what it is that that works for you, what it is that you feel intuitively is going to work best for you in what it is you're trying to perform. Like, for instance, circle casting. Circle casting was something that I did weeks and weeks and weeks of research on, because there is so much information on just that one specific subject. And I came across websites, articles, blogs, YouTube channels, books that all describe different ways of casting a circle. And basically what it came down to was me having to decide, kind of sift through all of that information and decide what it was that I felt would work best for me, what it was that I felt comfortable doing. And nobody can tell you that. Nobody can tell you, okay, you have to do it this way. This is the only way to do it. If they do, it's probably not a credible source, because I believe Amethyst Moon had mentioned this, there is no right or wrong way to do anything in this path. So with that research, you get a lot of information. I mean, an abundance of information. The thing to look out for is people, writers, and individuals who claim that the way that they are kind of instructing you to do it is the only way. If you don't do it that way, it's wrong. Watch out for stuff like that. Also, in the researching, you're going to find that people will try scare tactics, where they tell you that, you know, if you change certain aspects of this ritual, or you change certain aspects of the spell, or you change certain ways that you do the circle casting, or whatever it is, if you change it, something horrible is going to happen to you. That's probably not a credible source. But the flip side of that is that with all of that information, you get to pick and choose what you like, regardless of what they say will happen if you don't do it the way they say to do it. If you like the way that they have it set up, but you want to kind of tweak it a little bit, I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, it really comes down to your intuition, and that's the second thing, is really tapping into your intuitive side, because on this path, like I said, there is no specific guideline for how you do things, how you perform things. So you got to kind of rely on your intuitive side to kind of guide you and feel around to see what works for you, what's going to kind of make you feel like you're doing the best you possibly can. There are so many new Wiccans, pagans, witches that I get questions from about well, how do I do a ritual? How do I do a full moon ritual? Well, there is no set standard. I mean, there's kind of basic stuff, but there's no set standard. There's no guideline. There's no, it has to be done this way or else you're doing it completely wrong. It really comes down to that intuition that you have, because everybody has intuition, and tapping into that side of yourself to determine what is going to work. Um, and you'll hear a lot, I know I've heard numerous witches, pagans, Wiccans on YouTube here say, this is how I do it, this is how I set it up, but you got to do what feels right to you. That phrase is imperative to your studies, to how you do things, how you perform things, how you view what your path is. It's imperative. What feels right to you. Don't let anybody tell you you're doing it wrong. There are going to be people who are naysayers, and they're going to try and discourage you from doing things a certain way, but if it feels right to you, do it. Let's see what else. Really tapping into that intuitive side of yourself, and you can do that through meditation. You can do that you'll find that a lot of Wiccans, pagans, witches are into the divination arts. That is something that, it's not only used for, gaining knowledge of the future or figuring out what's going to happen. It's also to enhance and to define and to kind of connect yourself to that intuitive side, because it's imperative to this. Really getting to know yourself on an intuitive level, and not shutting it off. You got to really listen to that part of yourself. I mean, if something feels right, then it feels right, and go with it. If it doesn't feel right, even though somebody says that it's the only way or the right way, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it that specific way. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Let's see what else. Oh, on the note of naysayers, it can be very discouraging to enter into this path and to have somebody tell you you're doing it all wrong, or to have somebody tell you that that an opinion that you have about your path or your spiritual belief or how you do ritual or how you set up circle or whatever it is incorrect. Or coming across information that tells you what you're doing is wrong, or coming across lots of different opinions on the same subject. It can be kind of discouraging, but the idea is to pick what it is that you're comfortable with. Pick what it is that you feel is in your best interest as far as your path is concerned. Don't worry about what everybody else is saying. It doesn't really matter. And on the same note, don't go around and tell people they're doing it wrong. It just creates a negative connotation to the idea that you should be doing it the way that you feel comfortable. Because not everybody's going to do it the same way. So people need to be allowed to have that freedom to perform things the way that they need to, the way that they feel is the right way, without people judging them for it. Because everybody's different. You can't please everyone, and you shouldn't expect to please everyone. And so it's counterproductive to go around kind of naysaying everybody. So, if somebody does it differently, you should just leave it alone. It's okay. It's okay that they're doing it differently. Let's see what else. Meditation is a big part of, at least my way of going about my path. It's been a huge, massive part of what I do and how I practice. And the reason that I use meditation, and I'm noticing that in a lot of the books and articles that I read and things like that, I'm noticing that meditation is coming up as kind of a pattern within the craft. So what I use it for is, one, it focuses my mind. And being able to focus your mind when you're trying to set intent in a spell or a ritual is so invaluable. You just cannot. It's so important and imperative to be able to focus your mind on and set your intent. Um, Not only that, but it allows me to kind of ground and center, which is another very important aspect of what we do. Grounding and centering meditation really helps me kind of refine that ability to ground and center. Not only that, but I've also discovered that my matron goddess likes to communicate through meditation with me. So those are kind of the reasons why, the main reasons why I meditate. On top of all the, it's good for mental health, it's good for physical health. It's just one of those things. It's just kind of all the way around. It's just a good idea. And the thing about meditation is when you're first trying it out, just like anything that you start, you're not very good at it at the beginning. It's not going to be like, you dive right into it and you're awesome at it, because it's very hard to focus your mind. It's very hard to kind of clear and be of that mind frame, that meditative state. So it's going to get a little frustrating, but it's not supposed to be something that you just are good at. It's supposed to be something you work upon, just like doing what you do in the craft. It's something that you work upon steadily in order to get to a certain point, or to just continue that throughout your life, to better yourself that way. Let's see what else. It can be, like I said, very discouraging to come across all this information, but it really does come down to doing what you feel is right. Not only that, but it's kind of this path, because of all the information that's out there, you're never going to learn everything that's out there. You can spend lifetime upon lifetime trying to learn all the aspects of this path, and I still don't think that's enough time. And it's constantly shifting and changing, and there's always, new stuff that's put out there, and so it's in your best interest to get familiar and comfortable with the idea of researching things throughout your life, not giving up on that learning process, even though maybe you do a year-in-a-day study. After that, it does not end. That study never ends. This path is one of those that is, if there's so much information, and it's important that we accept the idea that we will be learning through our entire lives, should you choose to stay on this path that long. Learning is probably the most important thing. Being open to retaining that knowledge and researching that knowledge, and kind of transcending time that way, as far as the research and getting to know the craft. Let's see what else. So really, and somebody once told me that if you stop learning, you stop living. The minute you stop learning, the minute you stop being open to the idea that you don't know everything, that you still need to retain knowledge, is the moment that you kind of cease to live your life to the fullest. So constant learning in this path, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing because it rounds out what it is you're doing. Let me think here. Is there anything else? I think that's pretty much it as far as the information and the advice that I have for a new witch. Just don't give in to everything that you hear. Always question what it is that you're learning. Always keep an active, critical mind as far as analyzing what the information that you are looking into, because that is so important. It is so imperative. And being able to kind of pick things apart and really kind of grasp the idea of whatever it is you're researching really helps you in understanding it further. So yeah, now that I've ranted for 15 minutes, I believe that that is it. Always keep in mind the idea that that there could be consequences to your actions. You may believe that, you may not, but for me anyway, personally, I believe in the threefold law. I am an eclectic Wiccan, so I believe in the threefold law to the fullest extent. And therefore, I know that every single thing I do, good or bad, is going to have a consequence. And so that's something that you should probably keep in mind when you start to practice magic, when you start to do those things, start to do spell work. Keep that, just, I mean, even if you don't subscribe to that idea specifically, just keep that in mind, because it is out there. I've seen it. I've seen it happen to people, and it's not always the nicest thing. So, yeah. So yeah, keep that in mind. And also learning to protect yourself. That's another important aspect of the craft. Learning to protect yourself, which kind of goes hand in hand with the circle casting and that sort of thing, which is very important. Circle casting, grounding and centering, just kind of knowing what you're doing. Those are probably some of the main things that are really important to learn right off the bat. But protecting yourself is important, because there are people out there who don't mind practicing negative magic, I guess you'd call it. So it's always good to protect yourself, and even, you know, even if it's not with regard to that, I mean, it's just a good idea. So it's something that I practice very, very religiously. So also, just real quick before I end this, there are going to be naysayers as far as your path in general. We kind of covered this on this channel before, but people are not the most accepting as far as this path is concerned, so it is probably important that you are prepared to kind of confront that. People are not, because there's so much stigma behind what we do and so many misunderstandings, and it's easy for people to misjudge. So it can be deflating to the new witch, and therefore I think it's important to mention that again, you're not going to be able to please everybody, and don't take it to heart, because a lot of people just don't understand, and that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, so anyways, that's my video. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoy what you see. We always love new subscribers, and we will be talking to you soon. Have a blessed weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.